Alright, we are recording. Continuing going medieval, Q survived by Tinsley PR, and a couple things. One is, yes, I am aware that I'm using the window capture. It just didn't hook in. Hopefully it will later. Um, I, I, I think a Windows update decided to change a whole bunch of stuff, so like I had to reset certain things with OBS otherwise. Just because I'm on the laptop, which GPU it uses. But anyway, yeah, hopefully that will go away. That means that it went to the game hook. But also, I just want to point out that, yeah, there's going to be at least one rant in this video. Because we got this stuff. And, yeah, quality of life improvements, no, not really. You'll see. You'll see. Mainly because these first two, you'll see. I've not launched the game, but with update 14, fire and training structures, just going through the notes on it. Oh yeah, there's gonna be rants. There's gonna be rants. I also have a couple things to talk about in my notes. One is I did finally look at the Witcher 4 trailer that, yeah, it left me very unimpressed. Which is disappointing because there was some good trailers for prior Witcher games. And I actually looked at some because I was thinking about doing a video doing comparison, but I didn't ultimately decide. Well, at least I could still do it, but I haven't decided to take the time. Alright. But first, this. So we now have fire and flammability to have to deal with. Okay, that's annoying, but yeah, it's a thing that would eventually come. And it will be interesting to find out, like, have I been building stuff too close? But here is the rant. Firefight and train! We have 2 more jobs! We don't need them! I'm certaiously, why? You could do an emergency priority thing. That's firefighting, patient, tend, and you could actually group all those together to a single thing that's just emergencies. And training. So now we can actually train, but it's only with weapons. Combat skills. It's like, I don't care. This is supposed to be a non-combat thing, but it's like, I don't care. Why can't I train with smithing? Why can't I train with carpentry? Why can't I train with tailoring or alchemy? Or even research? I guess research, it just trains itself. But growing officer, I'm saying all these things that are based on skills, and it's like, no, you can't train any of those. It's like, but no, this, we can train. I get the whole with combat skills, you really only use those at certain times. I get that. But it's also you can lose materials because, oh, they're not high enough level for stuff. Well, then make it possible for people to train. I mean, so you would have, at this time, this is supposed to be a moment in time, right? You would have had at this time the concept of master and apprentice for training. I think I still see that it's window capture. So it's like, you absolutely had the concept of training, all right, at this time in history. It's like, nope. Now, granted, fire is an older concept, but still this is a mess. It has been a mess from months ago. Years ago, even, because the game is actually well over a year old now. And it's like, they're just continuing to add to it. It's not getting better. Yeah, anyway, we got fire. Hopefully that won't come up. I actually would like that, so, you know, I'm going to unpause. Not that. Leave these. Oh, no, they aren't paused. His priority was just low enough, which is silly because plenty of them are at 2. Oh yeah, because it's running into all these other things that it's doing first. But no, we'll just do that. But yeah, because I would like to show you the barrels at least. The other stuff, I don't necessarily care. The other stuff is there. Yeah, the oil press, this, so that you can make oil traps and such. But it's like, I don't know how much I really care. I mean, oil is useful for other things as well, but they're not doing that. It's let's have combat stuff. Shields got a change. Do I have access to some stuff already? You know, hang on. There's supposed to be... I have no idea where it would be. Here we go. We are supposed to have wells that need to be placed on water, so... Oh. Well, it doesn't indicate. It doesn't indicate that's the case. So I guess then that it's also blocked. The heck? Yeah. Oh, this is actually very weird. What? What the hell is the size of this thing? What is wrong with it? It needs to be placed on a water source. Apparently not. Or are you saying that it has to be in, like, both sides? Hang on. I'm just looking at the... Okay, yeah. I think I know what's going on here, but they don't explain that anywhere. My God. So, Titan Quest 2 is coming in the new year. Don't know when. I'm very much looking forward to it because this is just so frustratingly stupid and badly designed and badly implemented. But THQ Nordic did share a did talk a little bit about Titan Quest 2 in its holiday wishes blog post, saying that it will not feature season passes or in-game shop shenanigans. I don't remember actually what the term was, but that's how I put it in my note. Let's actually just pull it up because I should be able to get to it. Yeah. Oh no, not that. Wrong link. That's it. Or in-game shop nonsense. All right, great, fine. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, definitely look forward to that because, as I said before, when that hits early access, I will be buying that, seeing how that goes. I expect it will also frustrate me, but in hopefully a very different way, and not being a this is dumb, this is badly designed, but rather a this isn't. Rather as a this is not Titan Quest kind of thing. Oh wait, hang on. That is true. Where the hell was it? It's over here. Why it's under missile? I mean, there's so many reasons to be doing this better. Yep. You need it on both sides. Let me tell you something. That's not how wells work. Okay? I mean, for one thing, this is just dumb. Because if you look at it, you look at the actual design of this thing. So actually, hang on. I will place it so we can get a look at it without the cursor on top. So it's basically just a convenient way to drop a bucket down. That's all this is showing. Here's the problem, though. That's what a gallows does as well, to a degree. Okay? I'm saying, you see how you just have the wooden beam going up and over? That's all you need. You don't need this complex structure. Like, you could use half of this and achieve the same effect. Especially because the water's right there. Now, here, let's actually try some. Let's try something here. This will not. I will be shocked if it works. Actually, I should say it might work. It shouldn't, though. For how I understand. Oh no! It actually does let you do that. Interesting. Not enough allowed. Okay, that's fine. So it would actually allow it to go all the way down. Okay. So now that makes a little bit more sense. But still this is stupid. Because that's not how wells really work. Now let me tell you something kind of fun about wells. Is that there's no reason you can't put one right there. The fuck? I'm sorry, but what the hell? You were complaining and complaining and complaining, and now it's like, nah, you can put one right there. What? You're supposed to build it over a water source. There isn't one there. They don't communicate in the patch notes. They don't communicate in the description here that it requires solid foundations on both sides. It doesn't say that anywhere. And as I've just said, there's no reason this couldn't just be secured on a single side. In fact, here, you've still got two corners. You still have two sides that it could be secured here. You could absolutely do it here. But no, structure can't be placed here. But it will let you not build over water. Or at least not flowing water. Because groundwater is a thing. A little bit of a funny aspect about the Earth. Basically, there's groundwater anywhere. It's just how deep is it? Like in theory, if I went outside and I started digging, I would hit water. It might take 100 feet instead of 10 feet, as in some places it might take 200 feet. But technically it is there. Because that's is that the water table that's referred to as? But basically, from rain, it goes down into the ground, actually gets cleaned, passing through all the various particulates, because the water will flow through, but the dust and dirt and such that's collected there won't pass through the soil and gravel and such. And it will eventually reach a layer that it won't go further down because of like pressure and such. But it's essentially, in some cases, it might be dissolved into the soil and rock there, or it's just between the gaps. And so when you dig down, it's under pressure, understand. When you dig down, what ends up happening then is you now have a void, essentially, where there is very low pressure, and so the water is able to flow out of whatever it's trapped in, captured in. So if you... that's why you can basically dig down anywhere and you'll eventually hit water, because it is well, maybe not in deserts where a lot of that groundwater has already been used up and is gone, but in a lot of other places, basically if there's rain, the rain goes down and collects in that water table. It may then move off to one side or another, which is why you have to go down very, very far to find it, but it still is. You could absolutely build a well here and just have them dig far enough down and get water. But in order to do that, they would also need to then have risks like here, that if you dig down too far, you will end up hitting water, which, honestly, as an idea, that doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. If they had decided to do that here, I don't think I could possibly complain. I'm completely serious. You would need a way to shore up sides then to prevent it. You'd need some way to indicate, hey, there's water. Hey, we're gonna have water flowing out. I get that, and I can understand that. But it still is, that is actually, in some ways, even more meaningful than fire would be to me. But yeah, it's just, I do not know why it is. Hang on. You know what? Let me check something. Let's have a funny thought cross my mind. Okay, good. I just wanted to check. The game is running on the discrete GPU. OBS is running on the integrated the one in the CPU. So that's good. I'm technically the encoding is still being done by the CPU for OBS anyway, but yeah. But yeah, so anything people even and animals can set on fire, but yeah. This is just so dumb. It really is. What also, I mean, think about here. It was complaining about this stick trap, not a, well, no, you need something on the other side as well. You know, there should also be recipes that require water. I mean, legitimately, there should be food recipes that will require it. Why are they mining? Research is higher. I'm going to pause these. Don't want those to be accidentally used. Wait a minute. Aren't this supposed to be 3 levels? Oh, okay. I was confusing those for these. Yeah, so give me the barrels. Give me the barrels. Where are they? There they are. That should not be off of preserving food. Not even remotely. They have... There's no description of them for being from preserving food. And hang on. Look at this. It requires beeswax, and I'll explain why in a moment. It's tied to preserving food, not beekeeping. The thing you need for making beeswax. Did nobody actually test this? I'm sorry, but I'm kind of getting ranty and frustrated enough to be at the point of, yes, I'm gonna insult you. I'm gonna insult the developers here. Did no one actually look at the requirements here and realize, hey, we need wood? Okay, well, wood is, all the way back here. Oh, we need beeswax. Okay, well, let's put this behind preserving food then. No, this is completely wrong. It should be here. That's what the line should be, not down there. I mean, I've already ranted about how the whole research thing here is very badly made and needs to be completely reorganized. It does. It does, completely and utterly. Because it's also the whole, yeah, so it's like here, how we've got the books. Okay, well, this should be further to the right then. You should have the stuff that requires chronicles here, the stuff that a line, books, a line, and then the, what is it, theses. Okay, that's how that should be. It should be split up like that, not like this, not like this. Anyway, the reason why barrels need beeswax is because they can automatically extinguish fires. And I don't know if this necessarily existed in the past, but I find it completely reasonable. It's actually how modern fire sprinklers work, believe it or not. Why are any of those on? I know I turned those off previously. Whatever. So the idea is, if a fire reaches the barrel, the wax will melt. When it melts, hang on. I want to put the sticks down first. When it does, the wax melts. Although, that's actually very true. That is so very freaking true. Yeah, the wax will melt and then allow the water to flow out. Okay? Now, the way sprinkler systems in buildings actually work, the ones that are in the ceilings, there actually is, I don't remember what's in it, but it's basically a glass tube with a certain material in there that heat will cause that to rupture. When it ruptures, it's constantly under pressure. The water is basically always there trying to get out. This piece of glass is what prevents it. The heat of the fire causes it to break. So now it's nothing is holding back the flow of water, and so it starts spraying out. It's entirely a passive system that reacts to the heat itself, the heat of the fire. Same idea here. with this stuff. And those there. Now here's a problem. Here's a problem. This is actually a very, very real problem right now. They say beeswax. Here's the thing, though. You would be able to get wax from many oils, and that includes animal oils, such as what would be produced here. We have now. Where? Oh wait, no. That's behind research. I think. Yeah, there's the oil press as well. That should actually be able to produce waxes too. It's like you absolutely would have access to wax without bees. Absolutely. That is a thing. But, for whatever reason, they've decided, now it has to be beeswax. I'm sorry, it's just, part of it is I am very technical with a lot of things. It's like, oh god, if you were to, I try not to promote my other stuff in these videos, but there's one, I've been going through, technically one book, but it's a trilogy that's in there, criticizing chapter by chapter, providing criticism chapter by chapter, and I absolutely go at it where it's like, this isn't how that would work. It's like that, or this would already have existed decades or even centuries, in that case, prior. Why is it not working? It's like, so I do think about those things, and I do try to work back to fundamentals, even in my own writing as well. Was like, here are the rules, and trying to make sure that makes sense. It all makes sense, and very much current book I'm working on is a lot about that. But the idea here that it's like, oh no, you have so the idea here that oh no, you have to use beeswax. That's what's available to you. It's like, well, no, they would have access to wax without bees. I mean, especially this level. I mean, it's like you go. I'm trying to think. Hang on, let me also just look this up. How to make wax. It's also, I mean, there's no way. Okay, that's kind of funny. I have a feeling that's not quite the wax I mean. That's what I'm looking for. You can render beef fat to create another kind of wax called tallow, which can be used to make candles, soap, and other beauty products. Lovely. But yeah, it's one. You can make it from like 1 pound of grass-fed beef fat. I see here just looking up. I'm just. So cook and heat it on low for 5 hours. That would absolutely be useful here. Strain the fat through a cheesecloth, but I mean, a textile, we'd absolutely have that here. In fact, I saw a video not that long ago talking about, oh crap. Can't quite remember the name of it, but it starts with a G, where somebody actually made this, and it is a drink that goes back to, like, ancient Rome. And that you were going through various levels of textiles, finer and finer, to remove the gallum. Was that it? I don't quite remember. But going through the to remove particulates. So you basically just have a liquor at the end. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what it's describing here is you would take the fat. It describes first letting it cool, so it is hard about the consistency of cold butter. You'd grind it up. So I think that's more so a, yeah, if you could cool it, that's fine, but you could also just let it dry some, this fat, grind it up, which absolutely they would have. I mean, you actually that's well, no, yeah, they are making bread in here, so they'd have the ability to grind up wheat, which again, that's almost touching on prehistoric for how old that technology is. Heat it in a pot or slow cooker on low for 5 hours, so it's basically keep it near but not too near a fire. Strain it, absolutely achievable. Because I mean, remember, this would be about 1,300 years after. Well, this is set in around the year 1300. Ancient Rome predates 1 AD, so yes, you would absolutely have had the concept of straining, and it likely goes well beyond, further back than ancient Rome. It might even touch, well, actually, I don't know if that would touch on prehistoric. I think it's not unreasonable, I just don't know. And then he let it cool and harden, but it's basically what's describing for the wax is essentially a purified fat. Purified tallow. But that, yeah, you could absolutely create this. And if you have, I think you can also just come up with waxes from various oils as well. So the fact that you have an oil press here, it's like, yes, manufacturing wax is very reasonable. Come on in. Who the hell are you? I'm confused now. Because it's supposed to be 3s, but then the stars pushed up by 1, except this didn't. I'm not using J. Oh my god, I just realized I have to scroll. No, yeah, I want down to 2's fine, 2's fine. Sure. Oh yeah, cut plants, because that is very important. I actually don't. I guess I just put up there to give better priority to stuff. Hang on, I just realized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I actually do need to start building more of these. And I will try to make them these nicer ones. I mean, I can, so why not? It's kind of, been wondering why bother making such nice ones. It's actually easy at the moment. Oh, yeah, I guess it is true. It's over on this side. Oh, yeah, so I actually do need to change that then. Have the door on this side. Cancel that. There. Let's do that so things will obviously line up a little bit better. I can, so that's why. There. 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 That needs to be made differently. Need to cancel those. There. Alright. And... there. Just realized I'm almost forgetting to talk about the Witcher trailer. There. Alright, but yeah, so that'll get built up eventually. By the way, this will actually collect water, not just by people filling it. Which, what does that fall under? Is that steward? I don't know. But it'll, rain will also fill up barrels. I don't know if that's under steward. In theory, that should be. Yeah, I got nothing. I have no idea. So I can't tell people to do... Oh, wait, hang on. Prioritize emptying the container? That's under steward, but no, I'd want to fill it. What the hell? See, they it's like they have half an idea. They don't think through the other half. Well, they have an idea. They don't think through half of it. And then... funny. And then it just frustrates me because I am somebody that I do try to think through the whole thing. And so I realize all these issues. And I will just add that, you know, it's like part of this is just how I think with in terms of stories, but some of it is also I have, you know, the decade of experience doing video game QA, and then, oh jeez, what am I at now? It might be 3 or 4 years. I'm only 3 years doing software QA, where yes, I do have to think about and have designed various features, but I've also developed some. I mean, it's like, this is not like a just random guy complaining. It's a, no, I've actually got demonstrable experience dealing with some of this design stuff and having to think through features, and will even be like, yeah, it'd be really nice if I could have this. Oh, wait, I can't, because the implications are too large. We couldn't possibly manage it. This is so dumb. Have the ability to just, well, for one thing, don't limit yourself to wooden wells. Let them be stone, but where you can just dig down and get water. Nothing wrong with that. But the idea that you have to have on both sides is stupid. That is the word for it. It's stupid. It's also, why can't I put it here? It's like they're gonna decide, and because they do even mention there about, you know, how much water is in one of these voxels. It's like they even get into the details of that, but not the whole. You know, it's like, well, why can't you just put it here? Kind of thing, or why does it have to take a slot here such that a fence has an issue? I mean, just. It's like they're only half-baked ideas, and then they get put in, and I don't... It's not even as though they are doing that, and then it's a... Well, yeah, but it's early access, we come back and fix it later, because it's like, what have they come back and fixed? What have they come back and improved upon? Yeah, this is funny, that we have somebody here... Oh, wait. Oh, okay, that's Lee. Alright, that makes some sense then. So I'm actually gonna do that. Why is the frame rate so low? There's construct. Sure, let's do that so we get this stuff built now. Didn't realize I got that turned around, literally. Yeah, this is just... It's like a real quality of life improvement would also be to let the player copy and paste stuff. You know, a blueprint system. Which is not unreasonable. To be clear, that is not unreasonable to request and have. Oh my god, and a chore system for properly feeding these animals, for having feeding areas for animals, having pens for the pets even. And any of them. Which that also means then that what I can do, let's see how well this will work. It's in theory, there, and there. In theory, that will work. And that. No, it actually should demand either that it be over water or that it mines out underneath it immediately. Because, in theory, this is a constructor crafting thing, but mining is a separate priority. So these will actually be useless for a while. It's another one of those things where it's like, well, no, this needs to be all part of a single action. You know, that would be another thing that would be awesome if they had not just blueprints, but like, essentially macros, scripted multiple scripts for multiple actions. So like with fishing, that they fish, and then immediately go and return it, something like that. Or hey, you know what? Something else. They have a pot. They have a pot there, and they throw it in there. You know what? That's something that you could also do with barrels. Fish near barrels, and then you just plop them in there. I mean, it's like there's so many things. You can also do fish traps. I mean, come on. There's so many ways. This could be done so much better. Oh, wow, there's a lot of fish over here. No. Oh, there it is. I was like, that's a lot of food. Let's get it. Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know if one does exist. But if this game does have actual direct competition, it's like if there is another game like this going on that I'm just unaware of, it may exist, I'm just unaware of it. But it would be fascinating, because I do think you could have somebody being like, you know, we're just going to look at that, identify all these many weaknesses it has, and actually do like a ground up, this is how you would do this kind of survival, rebuilding, post-apocalyptic sort of survival settlement colony simulator. Because there's so many ways that it's like, yeah, we can do this absolutely better. I mean, just think about a schedule system that actually has chores, where it's like, hey, at this time, feed the animals. At this time, milk them. At this time, do this. At this time, do that. As opposed to being just generic, nah, this is the work. I mean, it is so frustrating, because it's like the game lacks a concept of chores. Yet chores are something that must be done. And I can't understand somebody pointing out, yeah, but I mean, it's a shortened day. Fine, make the day longer. Or even just be well, no, because this is more realistic, we're going to do it this way. But they're not doing it that way. The heck is this? Ah, okay. Look at that later. So, let's talk about the Witcher 4 trailer, which may provoke a rant. I hope it doesn't. It doesn't need to. Because I look at it and it's like, yeah, she's not a very good Witcher. Like, legitimately, she's not. I don't remember which one it was. For The Witcher 3. I think, like, Memorable Night? I actually downloaded it. So let me find it. Would that be here? No. Oh, maybe. Hmm. Oh, no, it isn't here. It isn't here. Okay. A Night to Remember. A Night to Remember. And then, of course, the Killing Monsters trailer, which is easily one of the best game trailers made. But no, A Night to Remember has Geralt, and look it up. I'm sure it's still on YouTube. I just downloaded because I have the game on GOG and it's among the extras. All of the trailers are. It is Geralt going, I think technically the monster would be considered a hag, but he goes to fight it. And the thing is that Geralt, well, it's not even just Geralt. Witchers are supposed to be incredibly knowledgeable. They know everything there is to know about these monsters so that then they can be prepared. And he does prepare. I don't remember if it is the cat's eye potion on its own, because this hag is also like part vampire. It might be that the cat's eye potion does it on its own, or he took another one as well, that it poisons his blood. Now, it is at night, so he does take cat's eye so he can see at night. Okay? But there is also, and I remember this being in one of the games at least, probably all of them, that, yeah, it poisons the blood. So then, if a vampire does bite you and try to drink any of your blood, it poisons them. They're weakened. But you also have in the Witcher series, all 3 games, the idea of other preparations for the battle. So not just do you drink the potions before you enter battle, but you would also sharpen your sword, which we do see Ciri doing, but you would also coat it in the appropriate oils or greases so that it does extra damage. You're doing various things like that. There's also knowing if you should use the steel sword or the silver sword, because silver is only good against monsters. Against normal people, it's kind of worthless. Steel is the reverse. Some monsters, though, I want to say steel worked fine against. But in this, Ciri shows no level of preparation like that. I mean, yeah, she's sharpening the sword, but so what? It's like anyone would do that. You don't have to be a Witcher to do that. That's not Witcher-type preparation. Witcher-type preparation would be making up the potions, making up the oils, and oiling the sword so that it's ready to do extra damage. And also preparing and drinking the potions before you need them. But she then walks after she follows the girl to then enter this cave and fight the monster. She enters the cave and I think even engages with the monster before she starts, before she drinks the cat's eye. And hang on. Let me show it, because I did also download, maybe I will still do the video. Okay, I'm just going to mute that. Okay. I muted the trailer. I just want to... Yeah. She actually already engages with the enemy in a dark cave. Then she drinks a potion. I'm sorry. But legitimately, if anyone is saying, oh, she's a witcher, it's like, then she is an incompetent witcher, okay? Straight up. And there's other issues with that. I'm not touching on those issues, okay? There are other people that know the lore far better than me that are giving reasons why she cannot be a witcher, okay? I'm not doing that. I'm saying she's incompetent, because she is. This trailer shows no level of competence as a witcher. As just a generic monster hunter, fine, but anyone can be a generic monster hunter. Right? I mean, it's like she's got 2 swords and apparently a cat's eye potion. Which, one thing that people point out, only witchers can take those potions because it kills a normal person. You need to go through the mutations, which I think I talked about actually, I'm not sure when I talked about it. Might not have even been in a recording, but that it is established as fact in The Witcher 3 that they don't know how to make new Witchers, so they wouldn't know how to run her through the mutations to make her a Witcher so that she would withstand that. And that's part of an important mission. They know how to initiate the mutation so the body can take the mutagens, but they don't know what the mutagens are. That's been lost. And there is, I know that this is getting to the lore stuff that I don't know so well, but I've been seeing people talk about. There's the cat school that they supposedly have a different method. The problem is that, as someone pointed out, yeah, it's rumor, and there's contradictory rumors as well. So we can't rely on that. And it's also, if it is a different set of mutagens, then does that mean that the cat's eye would have to be different? But it still is. Coming back to my main point. She would have, Geralt for one thing, maybe watched the girl at the village first, but would have beaten her there. Would have waited for her to arrive, because then he knows the monster is there as well. Told her not to go in. Like, wait here. He would have taken the cat's eye potion before entering the cave. He would have, because Geralt would already have some suspicion of what this monster was, would have prepared his sword with the right oils, potentially taken other potions as well, then would have gone in. Then would have fought the thing. Gotten beaten up some, like we do see Ciri, but Geralt would have always been getting back to his feet and fighting still. I mean, it's like, she gets thrown around and is like hurt. She is moving around. So that night, A Night to Remember trailer though, even when he gets bit in the neck, once he gets up, it's like he's slower, but he's like, I'm still fighting. She's just getting knocked around. And it's like scrambling and struggling for anything, not knowing. It was like, yeah, I just looked back at the trailer a little bit right before the cat's eye. She got thrown against a wall. It's getting back up, and I was having to look around like, where to go? Gale doesn't really lose track. And that's another thing. In the Night to Remember, because the hag, or whatever it is, I think it's a hag. I could be misremembering. And I think that mission is actually in, or at least it's a reference, but I think it is in The Witcher 3. But it can turn invisible-ish. Invisible-ish, because what they can do, nobody's fishing. I told you to fish and nobody's doing it. He has a pouch of this like silver dust that he throws, because he's like paying attention to figure out where it most likely is, and then turns and throws it, and the pouch explodes with this dust, putting that everywhere. And what happens? He coats the hag, the monster, in this material, so now it's visible. Even when it tries to be invisible, he can still see it. It's like, that's what a Witcher does, is very prepared. Nothing what Ciri did in that made me think she's prepared beyond just generic human being. And that's not who she's supposed to be, is it? That's not who she's supposed to be. I mean, even before I watched the trailer, my thought concerning Ciri being, okay, now they're doing, being the protagonist. I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with Ciri being the protagonist. It kind of makes sense off of The Witcher 3. In theory, though, you could also do, like, Triss, maybe Yennefer, or another witch. Personally, I think I would have been, because they had even said that Geralt's story ended with The Witcher 3. Personally, I would have been like, okay, then we're telling a story of a different Witcher in a different part of the world. Or a completely different time. Like, we are not, okay, we're just fully stepping away from Geralt. That's more so what I would have done. It was like, Ciri, no, I get it. I understand going with Ciri. That's fine. Doesn't bother me. But the thing is that Ciri is a very different kind of being. So she should not be a just normal Witcher, because she's more than that. Like, that's legitimately part of the story of The Witcher 3, is she's something very different. So you need to treat her as something different. Making her a Witcher diminishes that. It means it's basically no longer Ciri. I'm saying it might be in name, but that's she should be more than that. Because like something else I've seen people pointing out, that she doesn't know how to do any of the Witcher signs, despite it being shown in the trailer that she uses them. But she's got what is it? Elder blood? Was that what it's referred to? A source of tremendous magical power, to the point that when she spent time with Triss and Yennefer, they could barely teach her anything. And it was just so she wouldn't be so explosively powerful that she'd kill herself and others. It's like, you could absolutely build a game around a character that is now more mature, but not mature, like physically matured, and to some degree emotionally matured. I mean, it depends on what age you want them to be. But is still maturing with her powers. You could absolutely do a game there, a story there, and it could be very good. But instead, it seems like, nah, because Witchers are cool, so we'll just make her a Witcher. It's like, it's lazy, and it's like, why would I be interested in this? Yeah. And there's also the whole, I don't think Geralt would have sent the girl away the way Ciri did. Like, go back to the village. It's like, why? I mean, there's also another issue that I have with that trailer. That I'll get back to. But I mean, it's just the whole, by sending her back, yes, you did put her in danger. Because the villagers are committed to this tradition. And that was already demonstrated. So Ciri should have been aware of that if she had been thinking. And so you have forced the girl into this very dangerous situation. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, let me actually here, turn that down. Actually, no, we can rest there. I'll just pause these. But yeah, another thing to, and it's actually kind of funny because I just watched an episode of Star Trek, the original, last night, and it was A Taste of Armageddon. And it's like, this is something that this girl would have also been subject to, which is she potentially has for a while at least known the tradition about having to sacrifice a girl to this monster god thing so that the village is safe. The thing is that depending on how long she's known that to be the case, and yes, I'm stopping here, she actually wouldn't necessarily be afraid. I mean, not that she would want to die, but the idea of sacrificing herself for the village, yeah, there would definitely be people that would have accepted that, and actually, not, as I said, they, not that they're happy about dying, but at least they would see it as, my life has purpose, right? So the depiction as this being a horrible, terrible thing, it's like, well, not necessarily within that town, within that village. So I wasn't the happiest with that depiction of it, because if anything, that's something that the Witcher series would show. Would even have the girl, after Ciri killed the monster, staying, coming back and being like, why did you do that? I needed to do this to save the village. All right? And even potentially begging that, that she be killed because she has let her village out. That is exactly something that you could have put Geralt through in one of the previous games. I wouldn't be surprised if I replayed them and found that actually has happened. Okay? But how they were depicting it's like, that's not actually what would happen there. Here, think about it. The main guy in the village who is like, you're messing with our traditions, don't do this. If it was his daughter, he would have taught her. He absolutely would pass down his fervor for that tradition to his own children, such that if it was her being sacrificed, she actually would probably get angry at Ciri for interfering. Right? Because that is legitimately how some people are. And at Star Trek, A Taste of Armageddon, the whole premise to it is you have these two planets that are in a war and have been for 500 years. The thing is, it's a quasi-Cold War in that there's no actual real weapons being used. They have computers connect to each other and basically just run simulations for attacks that they would wage against each other. And whenever they do, then, okay, in this area, then randomly select 500,000 people that now need to go and be killed. But they are so accepting of this that everyone does it. They basically don't have any value to life. And part of the whole thing to that episode is the idea that, it's not so clearly stated there, but the part of what Kirk is so bothered by in that, and the others are so bothered by, is that war without the horrors of it isn't really war. And it's also, you lose the desire to end it. Because at the end, he destroys the computers, which technically forces now this quasi-Cold War, because there are people being killed, so it's not really a Cold War, to become a hot one. But it's like Kirk was waging that, no, the other side also doesn't want a hot war, so you've just been killing each other because you came up with this convenient, clean, as in a like clinical kind of way of committing mass murder and convincing people that's for the good. I mean, that is worse than what potentially that tradition in that town and that was depicted in that trailer is potentially even worse, because you could just decide, no, why are we doing this? You could just be like, why are we even doing this? Why are we killing each other like this through computers? I'm out. I mean, just imagine if once I was like, no, I'm just stopping this. We value our lives too much. We're not going to do it anymore. We're not taking part in this game anymore. And I suggest you stop as well. And then just stop. And just walk away. Just walk away. You could totally do that there. Because what's the other side going to do? Start building up the bombs to attack? It's like, all right, you could do that. Or we could just have peace. What's wrong with that? I mean, it's like when you think about it, the negotiations there are basically just convincing people to value life and to desire peace instead of just continuing the war and not valuing life. But the tradition that they're talking about in that village, the monster might come down and kill them. There is an actual, like the sacrifice is potentially to save the village, and there is a value of life there, which is why it would be much easier for some people to accept it. But it's and desire the sacrifice. But instead, we see that, and it's like, you need to appreciate the culture of that village. I don't think the trailer really did a good way, unless it is like, oh no, it was decided a week ago that this is going to happen. I mean, hell, it's entirely reasonable that it's actually that when she was born, because of how old this tradition potentially is, that she was born and raised knowing this is going to happen to her. It is absolutely reasonable that is the case. That they would be selected at birth for who this would happen to. And as horrible as it may sound, it still is well, this is important. That this is going to save our village. It would be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know, quite different game. You have a Wicker Man in that, which is, I don't remember all of it, but basically there's a town that you can encounter in there that they have not exactly a mayor, but essentially a mayor running the town who's in charge of things such as making sure that the harvest goes well. If he fails, or rather if the harvest fails, it's a pagan ritual. They build up a man of wicker, a large man of wicker, put the dude inside, and then light it on fire, killing him. Okay, in fact, in Valhalla, there is even, you could basically try to convince the guy to run away. But the problem is, he has a duty to the village. And part of it, what is if things go bad, even if it's not his fault. Even if there's nothing he could do, and I think you can I think actually you do prove that to a degree, that it was actually orchestrated. It was still no, you can't even try to present that and argue it to the village. He either runs away and is in exile from his home, and I think it's maybe even been said his family will be exiled as well, but exiled such as to death. Like they would not be able to survive without the village's help or without him. Or so he'd have to abandon all these things that he loves and cares about, or he goes through with it. He accepts his duty. That's a guy that just, he took on that position as an adult. He wasn't raised to be in that position. But for what they're depicting in that trailer, absolutely, I could see that, no, she was born, not necessarily for this, but at birth was selected for this. So the idea that of the terror there and the fear, it's like, no, it's actually very reasonable that she would have tried to run in, insist that Ciri kill her after Ciri kills, or any Witcher, kills the monster, and potentially even attack the Witcher to try to force them to kill her, because her death was to have meaning, and that meaning was taken away by killing the monster. That is exactly something that you could do in The Witcher, and it may sound sad, it may sound really screwed up, but that's exactly how some of that stuff would have worked. And there's nothing wrong with telling those stories. And in some ways, it's more impactful. But I will also grant this. It does diminish The Witcher in that story then. Because your focus ceases to be just on The Witcher, but on the village and on the tradition. But in a way, that's a better way to do it. I mean, think The Witcher 3. I put 150 hours into that, then started writing the review. I really want to go back and replay the game. I haven't yet. But it's like, I'm with Geralt almost all that time. There's a little bit where you play as Ciri in there. But it's like, I've definitely spent hundreds of hours in the Witcher games, because I've played The Witcher 2 at least twice. I think that's more like a 40-hour game. And The Witcher 1, I think, was over 100 hours. And that, in theory, I can actually look. I'm not sure if I was recording playtime. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Really? I could have sworn that The Witcher was longer. It says 36 hours when I reviewed it, and that's the first time I played it. The Witcher 2 I've played twice. That says 29 hours for the review. And then 152 hours, 39 minutes for The Witcher 3. I could have sworn I spent more time in Witcher 1 and 2, but in any case. You're always with, in those games, Geralt. You can let the focus be on the village. You don't need it to be on the Witcher, whoever it is, whether it's him or Ciri or somebody else. So yes, you can focus on them. You can see how the village is working. Because we're going to get to know the Witcher. We're going to get to know the playable character because they're the playable character. So yeah, maybe I should mention the books that I've been going chapter by chapter critically criticizing them, because it's like, holy crap. Because that is exactly the kind of thing that I do. With some of that. I'm not saying that as that's not saying how I'm planning. I'm reading and making notes about how, well, this is dumb. This isn't how this makes any sense. And then I make a video talking about that. I mean, but it is still the whole, nothing that I said right now do I actually have any qualms about. I mean, I think it was a very poorly told story in there. I think that it demonstrated Ciri being an incompetent Witcher compared to what has been established as what the Witchers are supposed to do. Not just Geralt. All Witchers are supposed to be that level of knowledge, have that level of knowledge and that level of preparation going in, and she demonstrated none of that. And then also the whole, it's a dark fantasy world. Show us the dark fantasy, and even that dark humanity. Because such a village like that, I mean, yes, we don't have real monsters out here in the real world, but you could absolutely have a village like that in the real world. That they feel they need to make a sacrifice potentially every year in order to bring good luck, good harvest, or safety. And if it is enough to be a tradition that they don't want outsiders trampling on, it's also enough then for the person to be sacrificed to desire it. Such that interfering with it will make them angry. You're not saving them. They will see it as you are hurting me because you are taking away my purpose. That wasn't in the trailer, and that is exactly something you could have in the Witcher series. It is 100% appropriate there. 100% appropriate. Because it's also going... I'm sorry. I know I just keep going. Hey, you got more than one rant in this one. But the Killing Monsters trailer. Okay, there was one thing about that trailer that is easy to forget. And so just to explain that, Geralt and Vesemir are like returning from a hunt. And they actually do drop the trophy off and get paid by a group of men who have a woman with them who they intend to hang. I think it might be said that they suspect her of sorcery. Don't quite remember. But she struggles a little bit, and then they decide, you know what, screw it, we're not going to hang her, we're just going to beat her up. We're just going to beat her up and kill her that way. Which is far worse, right? Both they are evil, and it is going to be far more painful for her, depending on how you hang. There's different ways, but anyhow. Geralt, Vesemir initially is like, you shouldn't get involved, but then it's like, just make it quick. It's actually kind of funny because Geralt had pulled out had unsheathed his sword a little bit, and then Vesemir's like, make it quick, and so he closed it because all right, it'll be quicker if I just do it with my bare hands. And he goes and beats the crap out of the men. Potentially, I know he kills at least one because he does use a knife and you do see blood, but there's another that maybe he didn't kill. But the girl's just there. The woman is just there and watching this. And at one point, one man asks Geralt, what are you doing? Killing monsters is the response, because the men are monsters there. But one thing that you don't know is why they were hanging her. Not clearly. So it's like, it's very possible she needed to be hung. That there was actually a legitimate reason. And the way that she is watching, that there's almost like an excitement in her face. Or at least I can see a little bit of excitement. Maybe other people don't. But at the end, when seeing him doing this to all the men, she doesn't run away. There's almost like an excited look in her eyes. Like maybe she is actually a monster as well. It's like, that's really powerful because it is the whole statement there of, yes, Geralt will still act to protect. Because if she was just hung, he probably would have kept going. But the beating, that was too much for him. So he went to do something about it. But technically, he may have also made the situation worse by letting her go. By letting her live. Maybe she shouldn't have lived. It's like, that makes perfect sense in The Witcher. Perfect sense in there. That it might only be headcanon for me, but still, that is 100% appropriate in that world. So, those criticisms I was giving about the village and tradition, 100%, it is 100% appropriate. Because it's in line with what I've seen before. So, anyway. I've definitely gone on long enough. I'll try to stop it here. Yes, I was lucky, and I didn't actually have to go in for jury duty this week. That's why I'm able to do this recording. I mentioned last week I might not do this week. Next week, I still don't know because it is going to be the weekend after Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone. We shall see. We shall see. But, I'm sorry, I'm just, the whole Witcher 4 thing. I'm not excited. It hasn't excited me. I remember seeing Witcher 3 trailers that excited me. I hadn't even played. I had The Witcher 1 and 2, I think. I hadn't even played them yet. And I was excited for Witcher 3. It's like, I want to play this. This trailer did nothing for me. Now, true. Decade ago. So, I've changed some, but it still is. I'm not excited. It doesn't leave me excited. Some of those trailers for The Witcher 3, they're still awesome. So, yeah. Alright. That has been more than enough of my blathering. And, see you next time, whether that will be the final weekend of the year, right? Yes, final weekend of the year or the first weekend of 2025. In any case, I will see you then.